Hello and welcome to the Cipher Racket. I am your host. Today's topic will be about exposing the local news. Local media can be both a potential tool for truth and a mechanism of control. News as narrative scripting instead of actual reporting. The task is to decrypt which one you're seeing in every broadcast. The racket. On your side, the racket is the public performance of being the community's watchdog. Local news stations brand themselves with comforting slogans like working for you, your trusted source, coverage you can count on. This racket consists of a predictable and emotional charged loop of stories. If it bleeds, it leads. Constant coverage of house fires, car accidents, and street level crime. These stories are visually dramatic and create a sense of immediate localized fear. Pothole patrol, focusing on minor civic annoyances, which makes the station look like it's holding officials accountable, but only on trivial matters. Feel good fluff, stories about school fundraising, charity car washes, or high school sports. These create a sense of community and goodwill. The overall effect is a performance of vigilance. They appear to be a mirror reflecting daily life and concerns, but they are not a mirror. They are a carefully curated screen projecting only what they want you to focus on. The cipher, protecting the powerful. The cipher is the collection of hidden truths and economic realities that dictate what doesn't get covered. This is where the hypocrisy and the double standards are exposed. The economic cipher, don't bite the hand that feeds you. The hidden truth, local news, is not a public service. It's a for-profit business. Its primary customers are not the viewers, but the advertisers. The largest advertisers in any given area are typically car dealerships, real estate agencies, hospital networks, and major local employers. The Hypocrisy, a station that runs a tough investigative report on a local hospital network that uses surprise billing practices or a major developer's controversial zoning deal, risks losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising revenue. The double standard. They'll send a reporter to chase down a small time contractor who scammed a homeowner out of $5,000, but they will give glowing news coverage to the ribbon cutting ceremony for a new corporate facility that received millions in questionable tax breaks from the city or town council because that corporation is a potential advertiser. The Access Cipher, the reporter's dilemma. The hidden truth, reporters need a steady stream of easy stories to fill the nightly news. This content comes from official sources, the police chief, the fire chief, the mayor's office. This creates a dependency. The hypocrisy. A reporter who starts digging into potential police department corruption or misuse of town funds will find themselves blacklisted. Their calls won't be returned, and they'll be shut out of press conferences. Their ability to do their daily job will be crippled. The double standard, they'll praise the police for a drug bust, reporting the official press release verbatim, but they won't file a public records request to investigate the department's asset forfeiture budget, see how that money is being actually spent. They trade real accountability for continued friendly access. The resource cipher, the illusion of investigation, the hidden truth. Real investigative journalism is expensive, time consuming, and risky. Most local news stations are owned by massive national conglomerates like Sinclair or Nexstar, which have slashed newsroom budgets and staff to maximize profits. The hypocrisy, they maintain the branding of an I team or an investigative unit, but it's often just one overwhelmed reporter juggling multiple stories. It's far cheaper and more efficient to cover a car crash in a press conference than to spend 3 months digging into a complex financial crime. The double standard. They'll spend an entire segment on a special report about the dangers of coyotes in suburban neighborhoods, a story that generates high emotion and ratings for a low cost. They will not, however, assign a reporter to spend a month examining the state's complex and often corrupt process for rewarding public contracts. The fraudulent scheme is this: local news creates a racket of fear and distraction focused on street level chaos to keep you watching. This allows them to quietly protect the powerful systemic sources of corruption in your town, because exposing the real truth is simply bad for business. They aren't a watchdog for the public, they're a guard dog for the establishment. The broadcast mirage. They call it breaking news, but it's the truth they break. Polished masks and scripted lines for profit's sake. Each word is weighed, each story sold, while hidden hands decide what's told. They feed the public fear disguised as care. Stay tuned, they shout, while selling air. Distractions their weapon, illusions their brand. A circus of chaos that the sleepers demand. They show us fire, but hide the spark. Dim the day, praise the dark. They censor the brave, reward the sly, and turn every question into a lie. They film the pain, but not the cause. Obey the system's silent laws. They guard the gates, the truth confined, while selling peace to a restless mind. But the cipher racket listens through the static hum, decrypting what the world's become. It cracks their codes, unseals their disguise, and turns deception into open eyes. For every lie broadcast in their charade, 1,000 awake to the truth they've betrayed. The mirage is fading, the veil burns thin, and through the noise, enlightenment begins. Today's topic of exposing local news is because of what's happening in my life right now. I injured myself by accident on my own property, and for some reason, there seems to be one issue after another. I live in Rhode Island. I work in Massachusetts, so I don't pay into Rhode Island TDI. And because I work for a municipality, they're exempt from any type of medical pay program that I'm aware of. So I'm not eligible for Rhode Island TDI. I'm also a veteran, and I called up the VA and explained what's going on, and they couldn't help me at all, or even point me in a direction to go. I contacted my local representative and explained what was going on. And they had another state worker call me up telling me that they're going to call the VA asking for help. I told them I already did that. And I'm tired of being told I have to wait and wait and wait and wait for no answers. I'm tired of fake sympathy. The state worker told me that he would call me back in a week. Well, guess what? We're going on week 3 and still nothing. Then I contacted the local news station. You know, they already helped me with an issue dealing with the municipality issue, how they're exempt in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts. But seems like they don't want to go any further into the investigation of all these other issues that I'm dealing with. They even asked me, what am I asking for help with? I was like, I just sent you an email explaining everything of what's going on. And they're still asking, I still don't understand. And I'm like, I'm trying to expose corruption in how I work and pay taxes, but because of where I live, where I work, and what laws are in place, this veteran is not even qualified to stand in line for help. And I'm trying to expose how government, state workers don't care and will do anything to waste your time and hope you forget and stop fighting for justice. I emailed 8 local VA representatives explaining the situation and asking for any help or advice. I only received 2 responses, and both claimed they couldn't help and for me to go to a local food bank. I emailed 3 other news stations about the situation, and not one has messaged me back. So that's 4 different local news stations that don't want to report on a veteran in need because he accidentally injured himself while at home. And even though he has a doctor's note to go back to work, but only light duty, the school tells me that I can't go back to work until I'm fully recovered. So that leaves me with no pay, no help from any government or state worker. I'm constantly being fed fake sympathy by people who are getting paid by taxpayers to help people in need. But I'm not receiving any help. I called the Rhode Island governor's office to file a complaint because nobody seems to care. Everyone is just ignoring me while I'm asking for help. These are all people in positions to help people in need. I'm in need, and because of corrupt laws, I'm not eligible to receive help by programs that are in place to help people in need. I'm trying to expose the hypocrisy and the double standards and how government wastes hundreds of billions of American taxpayer dollars on wars overseas and hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars on immigrants that are here to live off the welfare system. I'm an American. I need help, but nobody is helping at all and could care less. This needs to stop now. I contacted Rhode Island Attorney General's office because I want to file a complaint against the Rhode Island Governor's office, my local representatives, VA organizations, and the news stations that are ignoring a citizen's call for help. I also called the Massachusetts Department of Education to complain about my school district. There's corruption everywhere, and not one news station wants to cover it. I'm tired of living in this insanity we call normal. People that spend every day complaining about corruption by local or federal government workers, and they never do anything about it. Just talk about it every day, every week, every month, every year, year after year. Is that not the definition of living in insanity? Doing the same thing day in and day out, expecting different results. I mean, I even emailed 4 law firms about my situation, and not one has messaged back. I called a lawyer referral program to see if they could help. Free 30-minute consultation. I tell the Rhode Island lawyer the story, and he tells me he can't help me. I need to call a Massachusetts lawyer about my job, telling me I can't go back to work, light duty, even though I have a doctor's note saying I can go back to work. So I asked him, what about the corruption in Rhode Island? How I'm not eligible to receive help because of bullshit laws and regulations, and the Rhode Island governor's office is ignoring me. My local representative is ignoring me. My VA and veterans are ignoring me. My local news stations are ignoring me. He tells me not to vote for them and hangs up the phone. Less than 5 minutes on the phone. That was supposed to be my free 30 minutes. So I called the lawyer referral program again and told them what happened. Woman couldn't believe it. So she gave me another lawyer. And guess what happened? Same thing. Same thing. I need a Massachusetts lawyer. But this guy wanted to hang up the phone quickly, but I stopped him. I'm like, hey, I know that. I'm asking you about the corruption in Rhode Island. You could hear it in his voice. He was afraid. He was like, I'm sorry, and I can't help. And then he hung up the phone. So where does that leave me? I have to continue to pay taxes while I can't work, or my job is refusing to let me go back to work, and there's no programs to help a veteran in need, which is mind blowing. I really have family members and people I know that tell me I need to just shut up and take the loss, and who cares about the corruption? Same people that complain about corruption every day and never do anything about it. These people are delusional and live in a fantasy world that doesn't exist but in their own mind. I'm exposing the cowardice that inherits this world because I know I'm brave and courageous to stand tall and fight back against this corruption. But the same people that complain about the corruption every day, year in, year out, they see you stand tall and start fighting back. What do? They cower down and hide behind walls, spreading lie after lie after lie about you. Why? These people live in fear and worship insanity. It's sane to question insanity, insane to worship it. Just like I've been trying to prove how much money and energy we waste on a daily basis, but never have enough funds left over for Americans in need. Yeah, I work second shift at a high school, and I see massive amounts of waste on a daily basis, but everyone else calls that normal. Yeah, the insanity we call normal, where half this world is starving and the other half is overweight. Meanwhile, schools are wasting massive amounts of food and energy. Someone needs to investigate how much food is actually being wasted on a daily basis in each and every school in this nation. The electricity that's wasted is mind blowing. But you try to report that to the superintendent. They make excuses on how they don't pay for electricity. So it's okay to waste it because we have so many credits left over from solar energy. Taxpayers pay for all this, but wasting energy is okay. Wasting the lights and adding more to the power grid for no reason is the right thing to do. If I don't turn off the cafeteria, auditorium, gym, and certain hallway lights, these lights stay on for 8+ hours extra every day of the school week. Do the math and add that up, and then multiply that by every single school in the United States and see how much our Department of Education wastes on indoctrinating children. I'm willing to guarantee that if we actually started trying to save funds and save energy on a daily basis, instead of wasting it and then never having any funds left over for people in need, we would save billions. That's billions weekly. I know this is difficult for someone that doesn't have any issues in their lives and they waste massively on ridiculous scales. But imagine if you need help and the organizations that are in place to help you are not there to actually help you. And now you're left without money to pay for your electric bill and your power is turned off, while millions of taxpayer dollars are wasted daily on electricity being on for no reason at all. Society blames truth seekers as crazy because they break illusions. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Well, just because you don't want your illusions destroyed doesn't mean that's the right thing to do. I'm here to shatter those illusions. I'm not here to make friends. I'm fighting against the corruption everyone talks about but never does anything about it. Why? Well, because I believe in myself and I know what I can do when I have inspiration and motivation. When people try to put me down and bring me to their level of thinking, I have to shatter those illusions too. Just because you don't believe in yourself and you're too afraid to stand up for what you believe in, don't try to push those words and ignorant beliefs onto someone that has more courage and bravery than you'll ever have. I'm here to make change while others choose to sightsee and criticize from afar. I learned at an early age that you cannot trust local, state, federal governments at all. I was a 13-year-old cameraman at city council meetings. So I saw with my own eyes how two-faced politicians were and still are, practicing and preaching the illusion of democracy in public, but then showing the true side and how everything that they just said on camera was a blatant lie. We have a mafia government that's in control of our lives. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. It's still organized crime stealing our earned wages that we need to survive and paying ridiculous amounts of tax dollars on for them to give to wars overseas, immigration, surveillance, insurance scams, banking scams, and much more. We have to start fighting back by exposing our local news stations as being guard dogs for the establishment and not watchdogs for the public against corruption. I believe creating a crowdfunding lawsuit against corruption is a step in the right direction. Begin in one area and then make our way throughout the United States like a ripple effect. The philosophy behind it, normally lore, yeah, Lawsuits are settled for money, reinforcing this cycle of corruption. With the cipher racket, lawsuits become tools of decryption, forcing hidden truths into the open and setting legal precedents like tobacco, opioid, and asbestos lawsuits. The goal is systemic accountability, not individual payouts. Funds will go to public health reform, education, rebuilding trust, redirect health funding toward prevention and true cures, restructure agencies so they serve the people, not corporations. Imagine a world where lawsuits aren't about chasing settlements, but about breaking the racket itself, turning the courtroom into a cipher chamber where lies are decrypted and systemic change is forced into daylight. I created a GoFundMe cipher racket lawsuit manifesto to raise funds so we can take the fight to corruption and expose the hidden truths and the chaotic lies in this deceitful world we live in. We have to remember the story of David and Goliath. We are all David in this metaphor, and to break the insanity loop of corruption, we have to stand tall and fight all the Goliaths of this world if we want actual change for the future. We are here. I know I'm ready for the fight. Are you? But I can't do this by myself, and I'm asking for help. I need brave and courageous individuals or groups that want to be the change they wish to see in this world. I know you're out there. I believe in you. I'm just tired of this world not believing in me. Trying to make change in this insane world, but then being criticized and ridiculed by people who complain about the same corruption. I know I can make change by standing up and fighting for what I believe in. But people who choose to make excuses and never fight back are simply afraid of change and responsibility. On a scale like changing the world, we all need to be in on this revolution. Any donations are welcome. $1 a month, $20 per year, $50 per year. Any support will help the fight against systemic corruption. I know how Americans love to waste their money on mindless junk, so maybe instead of wasting more funds on materials you don't need, try donating to a cause that will help you keep more of the money you earn and spend on charities you agree with instead of being taxed out of your paychecks to give to others who don't deserve it. We have to fight for the change we want to see. With that, I'll leave it with that. So thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with more. So again, welcome to the Cypher Racket. Welcome to the Renaissance. Welcome to the revolution.